human immunodeficiency virus. Before, Philippines is a low HIV prevalence country with less than 0.1% of cases. But now, here in the Philippines, HIV cases continues to rise. With this, let's take a look of what HIV is all about. In an exclusive interview with the Dr. Priest, Father Dan Cancino, he explained the basic knowledge that people should know about HIV.
HIV stands for Human Immunodeficiency Virus. It is a virus. Okay. AIDS stands for Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome. AIDS is called the advanced stage of HIV infection. I repeat, no? AIDS is called the advanced stage of HIV infection. Okay? So, HIV is different from AIDS. HIV is the microbe. It is the virus that attacks the immune system. And when the immune system is very low, you become prone to different infections, like for example, tuberculosis. Then, you have opportunistic infection. Then you might succumb into an advanced stage we call AIDS.
This kind of virus is being spread.
I will make use of the code. I have codes para it will be easier for us to understand. First, remember number 3. Yun lang. 3. Para siyang Powerpuff. 3. 3. There are only 3 modes of transmitting HIV. But if you try to look at these 3 modes of transmitting, you have to ask first 2 important questions. Is there a fluid? Is there a door?
A door.
What's the fluid? What's the door? You need a fluid for HIV to be transmitted. And you need a door or a portal of entry for HIV to be transmitted. Okay. In other words, if there's no fluid, then there's no HIV transmission. If there's no door, then there's no HIV transmission. That's why there are only 3 modes of transmitting HIV. One is through what I call mother-to-child transfer. Okay, that is, if the mother is infected or the mother is positive of HIV, she can transmit HIV via 1, during pregnancy, during delivery, and during breastfeeding.
Father, pag ganun po ba yung babe ninyo, makakatagal pa po ba?
Yes, of course. No, of course. So I'll go first to the transmission, okay? So you have their mother-to-child transfer. Another is through sexual contact. What do I mean by this? If one partner is infected with HIV, and then the other partner can have HIV through sexual contact. Because through sexual contact, there's also the influence of a fluid. Seminal fluid coming from the male or vaginal fluid coming from the female. And the third one, to complete the number 3, is what I call blood and blood products. Okay? And this is very, very diverse. The most common way of transmitting HIV now is through people who inject drugs. Okay? Another is through blood transfusion and organ transplantation. But for me, blood transfusion and organ transplantation is already rare. Because we are sure now that when blood is transfused or when organs are transplanted, it is all properly screened of infection. So HIV is already taken note of. No? So safe ang blood transfusion na yan. And the last one is what I call tattooing. No? Yung mga nagtatattoo because it also involves fluid. But if you make use of your single needle, maybe your own personal needle, then there will be no infection. Now, so I make use of the code 3. Yeah. So mother-to-child transfer, sexual contact, and blood products, specifically through injecting drug users. The church would always adhere on the prevention of HIV, okay, which is really in 2 important roots, based on faith and based on morals. All about faith and morals, the church will always have a stand on that. Okay. The church will always adhere to letter A, abstinence. Ayaw ko muna. Hey, ayaw. Ayaw ko muna. Yung bang let's try to tell to the youth and to all people the dignity of the person. And the dignity would always fall not only as dignity separate from the body, but dignity with your body. Because God created you a sexual being with your body. Okay? Di ba? We always express ourselves with our body. Second, the church would always adhere to faithfulness, being mutually faithful. Okay? B. Basta ikaw lang at ako. Ng behavior. If you're engaging in risky behavior, then change it. Right? That is rooted in the gospel, rooted on values, rooted in life. Letter D, don't use drugs. D, droga ay iwasan. And I would say, even alcohol. You know, sometimes you would say, alcohol, the weekend. But too much or abuse of alcohol, can lead to risky behaviors. Would you agree?
Yes, I do.
Pag too much na napainom ka ng alcohol, then it can lead to risky behaviors. So, focus first on your values. What's your vision in life? And letter E, education. Edukasyon ay kailangan. Okay? Education would still be the best vaccine to stop and halt the spread of HIV. Okay?
How to prevent?
Education. Okay? Information dissemination. Okay? I do believe, even in my own experience, if you educate people properly about HIV and sexuality, okay, they would accept people, okay, the gay. I think the church now has opened itself after the Synod of Bishops. Okay, right? Let's not try to discriminate them. Okay? Let's not try to stigmatize them. Because they are also human beings. They are persons like us. Okay? So, for me, the key there is really education.
Since 1984, there is a total of 20,424 HIV cases here in the Philippines. As of August 2014, 500 new HIV cases were reported compared to the same period last year with only 382 cases.
Situation. Imagine people will try to stigmatize and discriminate you. It's termed as the modern day leprosy. But if you got to think of it, HIV is a disease, it's a virus. But it would always go back to a realization that even though I have this virus, it does not lessen who I am. We are still children of God. I like what PNHIV would say always na anak pa rin naman kami ng Diyos. Kung kayo ay anak ng Diyos, kami din ay anak pa rin ng Diyos. In our life, the last word that we should hold on to is the word hope. Because if you let go of hope, there will be no tomorrow. So if you ask me, will I still? Yes, of course. Yes. As long as there are people like you who are caring, who are loving, and there are people ready to sacrifice for the other, there will always be hope tomorrow. And as long as we like our youth to have a good future rooted in faith and in the love of Christ, then our church, our nation will be in hope tomorrow as Easter people.
With a growing number of HIV cases here in the Philippines, as one nation, we should stand and fight HIV. Help fight HIV. This is Joanna Tuazon reporting for The Right Angle.